All right, our next forward outlook for the upcoming week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So we're going to start right off with SPY. So for SPY, what we saw was a push above the upper value area. This is on the daily. And at this point, this little breakdown here faked us out. 412.62 is at upper value area, and we finished the day at 412.63. This was after Apple had the good earnings and offered the buyback. Beat expectations. So what we're still looking for is a run on this high here. This would be about 418.86. It's really 418.31. So we're going to look to purge this, going up into a break of this high here. This will be 419.58. So really what we're targeting is 420. Preferably this candle's low, which would be the 425.50. Crazy, I know. We really should not be trading at these levels, but we're just going to follow price action. So what we'd like to see is if we look down on a smaller time span, like the 15-minute or the hourly, you can see here that it's resting right at the point of control on the hourly. All right. So as long as 412.02 holds, you're going to look for a break back up past 414.50 into a run on these buy stops here. Your first opportunity to short would be at like right around the 424 range, but I do think that ultimately we are heading up to our premium draw on liquidity. If I can bring this out to like a 3-year weekly, that will be right around this candle, right? So the equilibrium of this candle, ICT folks call this consequent encroachment of this candle. We can also see the upper value of that is 454.64. Wild, I know, because that's right off the high. But if we're looking for downside, preferably what we want to see is a loss of 412.02. Then we'll be targeting this gap fill area here below 408.39 into 406. Okay, and you can see this down on the 15-minute a little better. Now, once you target this, you have two relative equal lows here, and you see this gap up here, this run from point of control. That's right at the 200 SMA as well. That's 395.20. And that is an area that I am looking for us to get to. If you recall on, what was it, this day here, we did take puts, and then we started taking some profits. I was looking to get a little bit more juice here, but we created some runners. So ultimately, I do think we do head back to this range. We're at 395.70. It's just I really wouldn't short strength until I get reason to do that. So the first cause of concern right there would be a loss of that 410.86 down into the 408 gap fill, and that'll take us down to 405. That'll put us targeting these two lows here, run on here, and then see if the 200 SMA can hold a support on the daily. All right. So I really wouldn't look to buy the dip until it hit this point. All right. Now, if we take a look at Qs, all right. So for QQQ, what I was looking at is we did run the high on a smaller time frame. You can see here we created that new high. And then on the daily, what this is looking like, this is if you're a strat folk, this is a 2 up. So you just wiped out all these candles going up, and you are looking to run this high. Is assuming continuation, because you do have the bounce at the upper value area, so you're still searching for higher prices. So above 326.79, we're going to target the 52-week high of 334.42. And then if we look at this on a 3-year weekly, our upper value area there is then at 347.58. All right. And the weekly looks bullish too. So you have this consolidation at point of control, and now you're searching higher. So mainly this would be led by like your NVIDIA, AMD, and then obviously you have your Apple. So for supports, let's drop this back down to a daily. We're looking at, let's go down to, so this right here is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, also known as a BISI. So this is 319.61. All right. So if you're looking at a equilibrium target, you would look at this to be your first support. Below this, you are going to target this lower value area into the gap fill at 316.66, let's say. All right. And that'll be right below your hourly point of control. Now you also have another gap back here. Okay. So that would be a loss of 314.96. You would then target down to 312. But based on how this is shaping up, I would not look to get in on puts until you start seeing a reason to do that. So really what you're going to want to see is some displacement. Now, if this did shoot down, take out the 319.61, take down to 316, and then take down the 312, then you could say, okay, well, until it's below 310.62, we're really not going to look for continuation down. But once it's below the 310.62, then we can look for a run back to the 200 SMA or the yearly point of control, 293.45. All right. And then this would be your clear, obvious signed target. But right now, I really wouldn't look to front run this because it does seem to me that it wants to run the 334.42. And that will lead us back into taking a look at something like Apple. All right. And if you recall, I said that we were in between these two boxes here. We were looking to short, and we did, and we got 100% out of it. But then look how crazy earnings went. So we're still looking to run this high at 176.15. And let's look at this on a larger span. Our all-time high is 182.94. So Apple's almost at all-time highs. That's cute. Once again, I'm not looking to long port commons this unless it's below this dotted line. And we've done this twice now. So if it's ever below this line, we can long. Until then, we're going to go up. And really, 147.06 is our, fair value. It's our point of control. So we are getting very extended here. But yeah, we're looking to run 176.15. An opportunity to go short would be below 173.15. You would then target down into 168.58 and then back into 166.08. So really a move back down to retrace this. But yeah, let's take a look at something like net. We haven't looked at this in a while. So net on the daily, it did go below its lower value area, and now it's retracing that move. And that lower value area is like right around 42.83. You do have, well, what do you have here? You have a low, low, and then another low. So you definitely have willing buyers below this lower value area. So you could look for a long here. Preferably 42.16. I hate seeing gaps being left open, but for commons, for sure, you could look for them at 42.16. That gets you right in at the lower value area, targeting a momentum push past the 200 SMA into the gap fill at fair value at 59.46. On the yearly, you're trading back down to prices that we first saw right around September, late September, early October of 2020. So if you're ever looking for an opportunity to buy, that would be it. And then any break back above the point of control long term, you're going to be targeting 85.08 and then back into this high, which will be ran at some point. You do have this large displacement down. So whether it's 5 months or 5 years, eventually you are looking to run 135. Let's take a look at CrowdStrike. And on the yearly, what do we have here? We have a low of 92.25, lower value at 108.75, 200 SMA at 141, and then our point of control at 115. So we are curling off the point of control. And what you'd be looking for is a return back to 141. I like a run on this high here. Still get us in line. You see this overhead supply up here that takes place around 170 and 177. So wouldn't be a bad bet looking to target 155. If we're looking at a 3-year weekly, that would be around 204. Speaking of CrowdStrike, I also like looking at BABA. So Babo, we have two lows here. Lower value are at 76.31. Point of control is at 90 with an upper value at 106. So 81.46 would be a good buy. I don't mind that at all. But you're probably going to see 76.31 at some point. We'll take a look at our Tesla. Tesla did rebound. Remember I said that we wanted to buy back again below 150, and we had a monster day on her. Monster day. So our next area of overhead supply is at 184, 184.82, let's say, 182.77, and then your gap fill takes place at 179.96. So let's just call it 180. So 193.85 does look to be the area that you would want to be out by. But I could see a run since it did tap lower value area. If SPY is going to continue and Qs are going to continue, you're probably looking to target this upper value area at 260. And it does seem like you're chasing after such a massive day on it, but I can't believe. Kind of fumbled the bag here when we bought below 120 and then sold at 170, because now we're right back to where we sold. Definitely looks like upside. We can take a look at let's do like AMC. Haven't checked this name out in a while. Kind of snaking at his point of control and starting to break up out. I do expect earnings to be terrible, but yeah. So 589, you're targeting 765, and then you're going to look to run on this high at 1129 into 1285. If you get above 1285, your all systems go to 1757, and you would mitigate this displacement down if that's what's going to happen. Another one that has ER this week, we have Upstart, which I like Upstart, especially at this valuation. We have been buying. We sold some puts. And then there's a lot of short interest on this name too. We have ER coming. I expect them to mention the word AI a couple times, and hopefully that gives them some momentum. But yeah, we're looking at this to, at 1324. I feel like if you're buying it below 13, it's a good deal, no matter what. Buy it below 13, you're good. We've sold some 12 puts. We've sold some 14 puts. I have quite a bit of commons. But what we're looking to target is 1802 past the 200 SMA. We're going to look to push this high here. That's at 38.59. All right. Now, because this did just create a new 52-week low here. Now, if we go back to 3-year weekly, this valuation was a little insane, but this is what I'm looking for. I am looking to bag on these commons back up to 122.29. And if we can run this, I'm cool with it. At that point, you could sell, 14 DTE short call, and you're going to get your shares for free. So I'm just looking for volatility to pick up in this name so I can wheel it and, create some solid money. Now, if we look at a firm as well, look at that daily candle. That looks good. Bounce off 905, punched right back up above 1071. Good. What is this? 20% day? All right. Our next area of overhead supplies at 13, and this is ahead of ER, right? We got it coming up. We're going to target the 200 SMA at 1683, and then the upper value area at 2253. If you can run this high right here at around $23, you're going to look to run this next high up here at 27. It can get spicy. If we look at the 3-year weekly, we have a high of 176.65. I'm not saying it can go back to its high, but what I am saying is that people that are short, they would look to cover. You could squeeze them out. All right. Yeah. I personally, I like this play. I don't know if I would chase it at 1072, because look at this candle here that you can mitigate. You could definitely get it again back below 10. All right. 972 would probably be your safest bet. All right, so that's some names. I will post the charts to trade in the Discord, and I'll catch you next week.